Relocating to the Tri-Cities, Washington is stressful enough. Don't let surprise expenses drain your sanity and your wallet. Stick around because in this video, I'll be going over the top 5 costs of relocating you want to plan for ahead of time to avoid costly surprises that could totally blow your budget. For example, did you know the cost of temporary housing while you wait for your new home to close could run you in the thousands? If there's a delay in closing or you just need to fill a gap between moving here and moving into your new house, that can add up quick. Budgeting ahead for this can help make your move smooth, stress-free, and financially on track. And that's just one of the expenses to think about. Wait till you hear number 3 because it's one that almost all my relocation clients forget about when budgeting. By the end of this video, you'll know how to budget smartly, avoid costly surprises, and feel confident about your move. Cost number 1, as I mentioned before, is the cost of temporary housing. When your home is delayed on closing, temporary housing costs can add up quick. Not just from having to stay in a hotel or a VRBO or other type of temporary housing situation, but also the cost of putting your items in storage or paying your moving company extra money to hold your items for an extra few days if there's delay in closing means they can't deliver at the time they previously agreed to. In some cases, they'll charge you delay fees or change of service date fees, and those can add up fast too. Be prepared for those ahead of time so that it doesn't catch you off guard and create stress where stress is already up here. Cost number 2, moving and transportation costs. These almost always run my relocation clients more than they were anticipating. When you are anticipating a move from out of state to here in the Tri-Cities or across the state to here in the Tri-Cities, it can get expensive. Contact different moving companies, find out what their estimates are, and find out what all is covered. You might have a relocation package that says it includes moving fees, but find out what exactly that means. Sometimes it means that they pay as a reimbursement, so you had to have that money up front. And if you didn't know that and you were anticipating them cutting the check directly, that can catch you off guard because that can run in the thousands of dollars. If you don't have that money available because you haven't budgeted for it, that will cause a lot of stress that you don't need. So plan ahead, ask your relocation company through your employer what they're going to be covering, or if you don't have a relocation package, make those phone calls, find out what those estimates are and when they need payment, if they need deposits and how much the total is going to be so that you're not caught unaware with expenses you were not previously anticipating. Also think about items like, do you have more than one car? They may include towing of one car with the moving expenses, but not towing of additional vehicles. So if you have other vehicles, a boat, something special that needs to be transported, sometimes they won't even transport them at all, and you have to make arrangements for that on your own. Look into that ahead of time to avoid that last-minute stress. Cost number 3, the one that almost all my relocation clients forget about, coming out for a relocation house hunting trip. The expenses for this can add up quick, and if you're not budgeting for it, it can definitely catch you off guard. A lot of relocation packages will include a house hunting trip, but will they include it for you and your spouse or just you? Will they cover plane tickets, lodging, and meals, or just plane tickets, or just lodging? You're going to want to check into it and find out so that you're not caught off guard with expenses you weren't anticipating and planning for. You might need to have your spouse come because they're the one that's going to make the ultimate decision about where you live, but your relocation company might not be paying for that, and you know they have to come or it's not going to end well. So you're going to want to budget for that ahead of time. Look into that, get those answers, and put that in the budget so it doesn't catch you off guard. The next hidden cost, cost number 4 that you might not be anticipating or thinking about, is setup fees for utilities and services. When you get into your new home and you need to connect to gas, water, sewer, these kind of things, if the seller's already disconnected, there could be reconnect fees rather than a direct transfer of service. You also might be moving into a home, a condo, a townhome that has an HOA for the neighborhood. And that HOA, although they may have charged a transfer fee to the seller, may also have a new client setup fee that's charged. You want to look into that ahead of time, or at least have some money set aside in your budget for that in case that happens to be the situation. Sometimes those fees are low, but if you're having a fee for this setup and a fee for this service and a fee for this, pretty soon it starts to really add up and it can start to add some serious stress. Look at that ahead of time, plan for that ahead of time, and get those numbers squared away so you have that money saved up and don't get hit with last minute unexpected costs. And the last cost to anticipate is lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes can include everything from where your kids went to school previously was a private school and it cost XYZ amount, and now they're going to be going to a private school that costs a little bit more. Maybe it's the flip and it's less, but usually the things that hit us unexpectedly are the things that are more expensive. Are daycare costs the same here as they are in your current city? Is the cost of gym membership, health club membership, or other sports and activities that your family engages in going to be the same, or is it going to be more? If your kids play club sports, is the club sports fee the same, or is it going to be higher? These lifestyle changes could hit your budget hard if you're not anticipating them and you haven't planned ahead for them. So make note of those things that are super important to you in your lifestyle, and then do a little bit of research ahead of time, or at least stack some money aside to cover those items if there is a change in the budget. Overall, these expenses can blow your budget if you're not anticipating ahead of time. So keep in mind those 5 costs of relocating: temporary housing, moving and transportation, the cost of coming out for a house hunting trip, service and connection fees for utilities and other services that you need for your home, and the last one being that lifestyle changes, things that may cost you more here than they cost now where you're locating. Everything from the change in the cost of the house itself to the change in the daycare, the school costs, the clubs and sports and gyms, all those memberships can add up if you're not anticipating them ahead of time. When it comes to relocating to the Tri-Cities, you may have tons of questions. If that's the case, make sure and watch the next video for more information on relocating to the Tri-Cities, or check down below for my relocation guide, free resource for you. And if you have any direct questions you want to ask, please feel free to ask them, post them down in the comments, or hit me up on a direct message. I'd love to help you out with your relocation and answer any questions I have. I'm Hillary Templin, real estate broker and relocation specialist here in the Tri-Cities, Washington. I look forward to helping you with your relocation to our community.